Hello and welcome to this presentation of the Coliseum Baseball Tournament on the Coliseum Sports Network. We will bring you a doubleheader of both 4-5 matchups, the final two games of this opening round. And the first game will be between the Toronto Blue Jays and the Pittsburgh Pirates. And then the second game will feature the Seattle Mariners taking on the San Francisco Giants. I'm Raymond Sims here in the Coliseum pregame show. We are living in day one after the non-waiver trade deadline. So outside of a few trades that involve the waiver process, the dust has pretty much settled. We'll see what these big trades, and there was quite a few of them, probably one of the most active trade deadlines in recent memory. We'll see how they affect the regular tournament. Some teams were not immune themselves. Now, as far as the Blue Jays and the Pirates, which will feature very shortly, there weren't any real major changes in terms of trades for those teams. But the Seattle Mariners, who come up later, were very big players in the trade deadline process. Not that they got a huge all-star like, say, the Tigers, but they did get a couple of key pieces, and they will be featured in the lineup when that game comes around. But for now, let's get to the game we'll have in Pittsburgh. It will be R.A. Dickey for Toronto taking on Francisco Liriano for Pittsburgh. And we'll give you the lineups right now. First, for the visiting Blue Jays, leading off will be the shortstop, Jose Reyes. Behind him will be the left fielder, Melky Cabrera. Batting third will be the first baseman, Jose Bautista. Batting cleanup will be the catcher, Deandre Navarro. Batting fifth will be the third baseman, Danny Valencia, who did come via trade, but before the deadline. Batting sixth will be the right fielder, Nolan Reimold. Batting seventh will be the second baseman, Steve Tollison. Batting eighth will be the center fielder, Anthony Gose. And because we're in an NL Park, the pitcher, R.A. Dickey, will be batting, and he will be batting ninth. And for the home-standing Pirates, leading off will be third baseman Josh Harrison. Batting second will be the right fielder, Gregory Polanco. Batting third will be the center fielder, Andrew McCutchen. Batting fourth will be the second baseman, Neil Walker. Batting fifth will be the catcher, Russell Martin. Batting sixth will be the first baseman, Ike Davis. Batting seventh will be the left fielder, Travis Snyder. Batting eighth will be the shortstop, Jordy Mercer. And then the starting pitcher, Liriano, will bat ninth. Supposed to be a good one here from Pittsburgh, one of the most beautiful parks. So we'll get you out to action very shortly. This is Coliseum Tournament Baseball on the Coliseum Sports Network. Four, five matchups as we wrap up the Coliseum Baseball Tournament. The first game of this Toronto Blue Jays and the Pittsburgh Pirates from beautiful PNC Park. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to downtown Pittsburgh. I'm Raymond Sims. here to call the balls and strikes for you. About ready for baseball here on a partly cloudy day in Pittsburgh. Some sky, but hopefully we can get in a full game here before the clouds gather. Here's a look at that starting lineup we talked about in the pregame. Reyes, Cabrera, and Bautista due up for Toronto. And here is Francisco, be the starting pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates today. Here's a look at the defensive lineup for the Pirates, presented by Majestic. It's the first of the month. I know a lot of people very much excited for that. As we wrap up the opening round of play, the final 4 teams figuring out which bracket they'll be sorted into. We start things off with Jose Reyes leading off. First pitch is a changeup in there for a strike, and we're underway from Pittsburgh. There's the 0-1 from Liriano. Bunt laid down by Reyes, right back to the pitcher and the out at first, and that's how we'll start things off. Next up here is the left fielder, Melky Cabrera.
No ball, 1 strike.
First pitch in there for a strike. And here comes the 0-1 again. Change-up out. At the Coliseum, the executive decision of using this particular view so that you could get a full idea of what the duel is like between the pitcher and the batter. As this one is hit directly to short, and Mercer able to get the out at first. So 2 outs here. But because the games in the Coliseum, you get an idea of the very unique cross baseball. And this is probably one of the best parts to look at the outfield in PNC Park. Jose Bautista up inside, leaves the bat on his shoulder. That's strike 1 from Liriano. Bautista starting at first today. He's actually been starting at first for a little while here. He's usually a right fielder, but with the injury of the power-hitting Edwin Encarnacion, he's had to fill in at first, as this one goes just foul. And the 2-3 put out will wrap up the inning. Scoreless here, and the Pirates will get their first chances to swing. You're watching Coliseum Baseball on the Coliseum Sports Network. Here's a look at Clint Hurdle, and this is a look at Clint Hurdle's lineup. Josh Harris, Cutchin all due up here in the bottom of the first inning. They will all be R.A. Dickey. R.A. Dickey, 39 years old, but still strong as ever, still #1 in the Blue Jays rotation. He's going to see if he can get the win for his Blue Jays today. Here's a look at the defensive lineup behind him, presented by Majestic. It includes new faces such as Danny Valencia and Nolan Reimold, whom we'll get to when they come up to the plate. But right now, it's the Pirates' turn. And here is the leadoff hitter, Josh Harrison. Now, if you don't watch a lot of Pirates baseball, that's perfectly understandable. But if you have, you're very much familiar with how fun it is to watch Josh Harrison play. He's found himself in the leadoff spot, and he finds himself starting at third in place of Pedro Alvarez, who was on a tear last year but has been struggling mightily, especially as of late, both offensively and defensively. Decided to gave the flashy utility man a chance to start, giving Alvarez some time to regain his bearings. 3 pitches, 3 strikes. Looking. We'll take a look at it again on show track. He didn't even bother swinging at any of them. So that'll now bring up Gregory Polanco. First pitch. Ooh, a knuckleball in there for strike 1. R.A. Dickey, pretty much the only pitcher in baseball to use a knuckleball as his primary pitch, and judging by how long his career has gone and his place in a major league rotation, that for him. Meanwhile, at the plate, Gregory Polanco made his debut back in June. Hasn't looked back since. High for ball 1. Polanco batting .247 with 5 home runs and 20 RBIs. Pitch low for ball 2. Polanco, the rookie, displaying patience. Manages to foul one off, and he'll stay alive. The count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. I'll foul off another one. That pitch looked about in the same area. One more time for good measure. This to right field, but playable. And the out made by Reimold. So it was threatening there for a moment, but in the end, that is out number 2 for Pittsburgh. And here is the dreaded star for the Pirates, Andrew McCutchen. McCutchen's first pitch fouls that one off. McCutchen having an all-star year, of course, batting .305 on the year with 17 home runs, 60 RBIs, and 30 doubles. Native of Fort Meade, Florida. Check swing on the 1-1. The umpire will bring him up for strike 2. Here comes the 1-2. Fastball inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The 2-2 from Dickey. McCutcheon puts it in play, but rounded up easily, and the 6-3 putout will end the bottom of the first. So neither team either able to make any ground. We are hitless and scoreless heading into the top of the second. After 3 up, 3 down innings for both teams, here is the cleanup hitter for Toronto, Diana Navarro. First pitch from Liriano, a 2-seamer, just a bit too low for ball 1. Diana Navarro, 275 on the year. 8 homers, 46 RBIs. Very good in the cleanup spot this season. And he'll smack this one into right the game. And he'll turn the corner here. And he's pushing for extra bases, and he's in there, sliding a leadoff double for Diana Navarro. Here is now Danny Valencia, the third baseman, coming up to the plate with a runner already in. As I discussed in the pregame, Danny Valencia did come to Toronto very recently via trade, but not at the trade deadline, and in the midst of all that chaos, he hits this one right down the left field line, so we'll talk more about him later, but he will bring in Navarro for an RBI double. It was almost a close call, so the Blue Jays on the board here, 1-0 early in the second inning. So now here is Nolan Reimold. Who hits this one directly to first, so Ike Davis able to make the putout there. However, Valencia advancing to third base, so he's now 90 feet away for Steve Tollison. And this one hit, rounded up by Mercer, and that's a 6-3 putout. So Tollison backs in a run, and it's now 2-0 in favor of the Blue Jays. Here's Anthony Ghost, of the season platooning with Colby Rasmus. This one does not foul off, just fair. And Martin will have to close out the inning, getting that one to first. So the Blue Jays come up with 2 runs, and now they lead heading into the bottom of the second. First pitch in there to Neil Walker is a strike. This one popped up in the air. Walker puts one on the 0-2, but under it easily is Ghost. And here's the catcher, Russell Martin. First pitch is what else? A knuckleball. And this one, carrying, lands on the warning track, and Martin is going to get extra bases out of this one. And it just seems like neither team is a fan of first base, because every time they've gotten on, they've passed it up. So here is Ike Davis, himself a first baseman. He's going to see if he can bring home Russell Martin. First pitch, a knuckleballer sails in there for strike one. Davis manages to foul that one off. Now he's in the hole 0-2. Davis with his .355 on base percentage. It's like that's not going to happen as it flies to right. The out is made by Reimold, and Martin will stay put. So 2 outs. Martin. And here is the left fielder, Travis Snyder. Pitch in there, strike one. Here's the 1-1. Swung on, collected, and the out made easily, 2-3. That's the third one we've seen in this game, and that's how we will close out the second inning. So the Pirates cannot respond in the top. Jays can tack on some more in the top of the third. We're in an NL Park, so it's time to have the pitcher hitting. Here's R.A. Dickey up at the plate. Swung on the slider and missed. Now, Dickey in 2014, not a stranger to swinging the bat. He just hasn't done it much. He's 1 for 5 on the season coming into this tournament. Two-seamer way outside, ball 1. Put in, and there's out number 1. And that's the thing that has been discussed in Pittsburgh, at least with the usual third baseman Pedro Alvarez, is the fact that he was not able to even make those routine throws. So And that's why you have Harrison in that spot right now. In the meantime, though, we reset the lineup. Here's Jose Reyes. Hits this one right up Broadway. He'll be on with a 1-out single. Take a look at that again on Show Track, and if he didn't swing at that, I don't think anybody would have been mad at him, but Reyes able to reach it and golf it into center field. And here comes Melky Cabrera back up at the plate. Cabrera high and brought down by Snyder. Reyes will have to retreat back to first. That's out number 2. And here's Bautista back up at the plate. He was the first to hit into a 2-3 putout, which we've seen a few of, more than we've seen for the rest of the tournament, because in a lot of cases, those 2-3 putouts have usually been ruled foul. Alas, the ump crew here in PNC Park has decided otherwise so far. Reyes on first. Even though there's 2 outs, it still can be a scary situation with him on the base paths. Bautista, 0-2 count. Reaches on a pitch well outside of the zone, and that is the second strikeout, or that's the first strikeout for Francisco Liriano. And that's how we'll close out the top of the third. It's 2-0 Toronto. Here's Jordy Mercer to lead off the bottom of the third inning. It'll be Mercer, Liriano, and then Harrison all due up in this inning. The baller finds its way in. 1 ball, no strike. It's pitchers like R.A. Dickey that show that you don't need speed. You don't need to throw everything hard at the plate to succeed. And this one hit right past the third base. Is on with the leadoff single. My point still stands, by the way. That one got right by Valencia. As the pitcher comes up to the plate, Jordy Mercer's on first. The pitcher does to advance the runner, Mercer, who, despite having a decent glove, doesn't run very fast. Yep. Fine, but it looks like there'll very much be a double play, and there isn't, as Liriano's able to reach on a fielder's choice. So the bunt helped someone, turns out to be himself. You can mark that play 3-6. And fielder's choice for Liriano. So 1 out. The pitcher on first, and here's Josh Harrison to reset the lineup. Strike in the dirt there. Because Harrison apparently went around according to the ump, so no balls, 2 strikes. Harrison smacks this one high into the air. Should be playable, and it is by Reimold. That'll force Liriano to retreat back to first. We now have 2 outs. Decent contact on the ball, but just lofted in there too long. Reimold was able to make the routine out. So here's Gregory Polanco back up. Flew out his last time up. And Polanco swings on the first pitch. He sees it's chased down and left, and Melky is able to get under it for out number 3. So Liriano left stranded at first, and it is still 2-0. The 4th inning begins with the number 4 hitter, Diano Navarro. First player in this game to get a hit. It was a double. See if he can tee off on Liriano once again. Navarro was also the first player to score. Came home on the RBI double by Danny Valencia. Here's the delivery. That fastball sails. One ball and 2 strikes. Diano Navarro from Venezuela. Been a bit of a journeyman over the years. Spent each of the last 3 years with different teams. Signed as a free agent with Toronto back in December after playing with the Cubs in 2013. 2-seamer high, runs to count full. Spent 2011 with the Dodgers, who he had spent an earlier part of his career with. Diano did have a fruitful 2006 to 2010 with the Rays, and he'll take his base here. First walk of the game surrendered by either pitcher, and it comes with the first batter in the top of the 4th inning. Here's Valencia, who got the scoring party started with his RBI. And there's Navarro on the run, and it looks like he'll be out at second. Caught stealing. Just couldn't get the jump on it. You got to admire the Blue Jays for trying to play small ball, but alas, it's unsuccessful, at least that time around. This one hit into center, but collected by McCutchen for out number 3. Or for out number 2, I'm sorry. So Valencia not able to get on base himself. Here's Nolan Reimold. First pitch in there for a ball. Reimold will take another ball. Here's the 2-0. Inside, 3 pitches and a 2-1 count now for Nolan Reimold. Reimold spent most of his career as an Oriole since coming into the league in 2009. He was eventually designated for assignment, picked up off waivers by the Blue Jays. He's been trying to make a difference ever since. Can't there, though, as he will go down on the ground out. Still 2-0 heading into the bottom of the 4th. Here's Andrew McCutcheon to lead off. Just made his first put out in the top half of this inning, so he's going to see if he can do something with his bat. He grounded out to end the first, but he hits the first pitch he sees. He'll ground out again. There's a look again at that tenacious defense by Steve Tolleson. Tolleson, one of several players on the Blue Jays that can just move around the defense as needed, which makes it easy for their manager to platoon. As Dickey puts in another knuckleball against Neil Walker for strike 1. Here's the 0-1. Neil Walker, second baseman, facing an 0-2 count. Fouls that one back. And this one fouled off as well. Winner of this game will take on the Cubs. They'll host them. And the loser of this game will actually have to go to Detroit. This one hit down the left field line and fair. And Walker is on with a 1-out single. Here is the catcher, Russell Martin. Hit a double back in the second, but was left stranded. The rest of his team could not bring him home. And we got a runner here. And he's out at second for out number 2. So Walker, much like Navarro, unsuccessful on the steal. Had to throw out a base stealer at second in the previous half inning. And now be tasked with repopulating the bases with Pirates. As Pittsburgh is behind 2-0. The 1-1 from Dickey. And fouled back. Russell Martin, no stranger to the Blue Jays. He is Canadian himself. This one fouled off, and that's the first time that we've seen that today. We've seen it much more in other games. I'm sure that many Blue Jays fans have contemplated the possibility of Russell Martin coming back to his native land, but alas, he is a Pirate, and he will fly out to center field. So essentially 3 up, 3 down in the 4th inning. And it's still 2-0.
Leading off for the Blue Jays, second
Steve Tollison to lead off the top of the 5th inning, followed by Anthony Gose and the pitcher. This one will fly up to right. That out made no problem. Here's a look at the pitch speed comparison presented by Thompson. My goodness, it's like night and day. But for the most part, for either side, it's essentially been very effective. Liriano using the more conventional method of having the fastball as the primary pitch and then mixing it up every so often. And then, of course, there's Dickey with his patented knuckleball. Of course, I say patented in a figurative sense. He can't patent the knuckleball. Many before him used to use it as their primary pitches. It just happens to be one of the last in a very long line. 1 ball and 1 strike here to Anthony Gose, the center fielder. Just as I was talking about the platooning infielders, a couple of those infielders that can play outfield, Anthony Gose is one of those outfielders that has enough range and enough speed to play pretty much all over the outfield. If he wants to get more offense here for the Blue Jays, he's going to have to hit one out there, but he won't, as he is fooled by reaching on a slider. So that's out number 2. That is the 2nd strikeout of the afternoon for Liriano. Once again, here is the pitcher, R.A. Dickey, grounded to 3rd his last time up. We're going to see if he can help his cause with the bases empty and 2 out here in the top of the 5th. Swings on the first pitch he sees, gets some distance, but it just so happens to be under the glove of Travis Snyder. So pretty quick inning there. Liriano making quick work. We're halfway home. It's 2-0 Toronto. After the completion of this game, which seems to be coming a lot quicker than most of these games, don't go anywhere. We got another one for you. It'll be the Mariners taking on the Giants from the city by the bay. Meanwhile, here in the city that converges at 3 Rivers, the home team is losing by 2 runs to R.A. Dickey, who puts in his trademark knuckleball. Ike Davis leading off the inning, flew out his last time up. Going to look to put something in play. And the Pirates have only put up 2 hits so far. 3 hits, rather. One ball, 1 strike to Ike Davis. Breaking ball drops in. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Davis fouls that one off. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And this one popped high in the air, carrying. This one will be gone. A home run. That one just kept going. I thought it was going to drop. I thought it was going to hit against that right field wall, but alas, Ike Davis will touch them all. Solo home run, and that puts Pittsburgh on the board for the first time in this tournament. It is now 2-1. Look at it on replay here. Davis just patient, getting a good idea of Dickey's timing with his knuckleball. And that one actually not only cleared the fence, but actually cleared that section of seating. Was able to drop just to the side of it. So the tape measure in 400. And the first pitch to Travis Snyder as he steps up to the box. There's a strike. That one in the air. That one's heading towards right field, but that will be in play, and the out is made. Here's the last position player in the lineup, Jordy Mercer. He got on base. He was on the front end of what was going to be a double play. So he's going to look to get back on. Mercer in the hole now. No balls, 2 strikes. Able to stay alive by fouling off the 0-2. Probably going to have to be just as defensive on this pitch. Here it comes. Oh, and the knuckleball drops in. That doesn't leave his shoulder, and he pays for it. That's out number 2. And another strikeout for R.A. Dickey. It's actually his first one since the beginning of the game. So here's the pitcher, Francisco Liriano. Just like in the top of the 5th, going to be up to him to keep the inning alive. Dickey in the last half inning did not. He flew out to left. Got good distance on it, though. We'll see what Liriano can do. Here's the 0-1. Liriano takes it. That one was in the zone. Inner half for strike 2. Dickey throws a very slow pitch. Has no qualms about putting it in the zone. He's only thrown 9 balls. And that number will stay the same as we close out the inning. 3rd strikeout for Dickey. But he gives up a home run to Ike Davis to make it 2-1 after 5. Welcome back to Pittsburgh. Jose Reyes leading things off here for the Blue Jays. Slider outside. Reyes, a longtime Met, as you may know, and eventually found himself in Miami. He was supposed to be part of the future there. A new era, bringing in that park and bringing in a new brand identity as the Miami Marlins. And that lasted all of a year. So he was shipped away in a very huge trade that sent a number of players in different directions. All the veterans from Miami that were supposed to make up a dynasty came to Toronto. There were a few prospects here in Toronto that went down to Miami. 2 very beautiful cities. Huge differences in climate, though. But since man has been a steady production for the Blue Jays, but he just won't be able to produce this time around. He flies out to right for out number 1. So Francisco Liriano gave up those 2 runs back in the 2nd inning. But other than that, it's been a pretty steady production. He's only thrown through 5 1/3, 46 pitches. All right, Dickey's pitch count isn't too high itself. Cabrera pops this one high to left field. Oh, this one's carrying and it's gone. There's just a certain point as it carried that you just knew that that one was on its way home. So Melky Cabrera and the Blue Jays answer Ike Davis's solo homer in the bottom of the fifth with a solo homer of his own. So it is back to a 2-run game, and here's Jose Bautista. Two-seamer outside for ball one. One ball and one strike now to Bautista. Grounded out and struck out, so he hasn't bought the production just yet, but always a threat when he's at the plate. Here's the 1-2. Bautista not going to swing at it. That's ball two. Pretty patchy crowd here in Pittsburgh. It is an afternoon game on a day when rain is expected. And probably a little more wind as Bautista took a huge whiff at that, but struck out. That's number 3 for Liriano. And that'll bring up Deoner Navarro. 2 outs, bases empty. As Melky Cabrera re-extended the lead with a solo shot. Just 2 batters ago. First pitch in there for a strike. Two-seamer. Forcing Navarro out of the way. 1 ball, 1 strike. Navarro puts this one in play right past the glove of Davis, and that single will keep the inning alive. And up. RBI double his first time up, but flew out his last time up. Pitch sails outside. Valencia coming to Toronto. I just remembered I didn't finish that thought. He came to Toronto on the 28th from the Royals for pitcher Liam Hendricks and catcher Eric Kratz. So had Toronto played earlier in this round, there's a chance that Valencia wouldn't even be here. Swings and misses on the 2-seamer. Going to be pretty interesting moving forward how, with injuries and any other additional transactions and call-ups and whatnot, how that will affect the composition of these teams as the tournament continues. Only needed to force play at second and the Pirates get it. But Melky Cabrera extends the lead for the Blue Jays, puts them back up 2. It's 3-1 heading into the bottom of the 6th. After Dickey closes out the 5th with 2 straight strikeouts, Josh Harrison resets the lineup and leads off the 6th. He takes a ball. Josh Harrison was the first batter up against. Did it looking. He flew out to right his last time up, so he's going to hope to put something in play for the first time today. Like a lot of his brethren, he's 0 for 2 so far this afternoon. Harrison hits this one, could drop, and it does. Ghost able to round it up to prevent extra bases, but it is a leadoff base hit for Josh Harrison. Take a look at it again. Just a steady swing by the Pirates. If the Pirates are starting to pick up on the knuckleball, sometimes teams are pretty good at doing so, and sometimes they aren't. Again, when you have a career as long as Dickey's, apparently it happens that teams don't more often than they do. Speaking of which, there's a knuckleball in there for strike 1. Harrison leading off from first. We'll see if they'll send him. And they won't, at least for that pitch. Harrison on the year with 13 stolen bases. He's only been caught stealing 3 times. Pitch inside for the first ball of the at-bat. Good job to take by Polanco. Harrison on base there reminds me of a play that just happened within the week. As Polanco will pop up, playable for Tolleson, calling everybody off. When you call off your teammates, you gotta make the catch, and Tolleson does just that. Out number 1, and that leaves Harrison back at first. And here's Andrew McCutchen. He's grounded out twice. So much like Harrison, he's going to be looking to get on base. Harrison made his way out of a rundown for the 2nd time, because he actually did it earlier in the season as well. Shows how spectacular Harrison is, and it also goes to show the kids out there never to give up on a play, and that's a bit of advice that transcends all sports. 1 ball and 1 strike here to Andrew McCutchen. McCutchen tries to tee off on this one, but it is floating out into shallow left. And that is Reyes calling it off for out number 2. 2 straight pop-ups for the Pirates have kept them from advancing Harrison. So here's Neil Walker, who last time up got a single. Was a little overzealous on the base paths and was caught stealing. First pitch in there for a strike. Neil Walker, 284 on the year. He's definitely had quite the season. Another knuckleball, this time inside. Neil Walker, also a hometown kid, born here in Pittsburgh. Went to high school in Gibsonia. And you always dream about being picked up by your hometown team. Well, that's exactly what happened to Neil, drafted by these very Pirates in 2004. Pops up into the infield. And that is how we will wrap up the inning. So 1 hit and essentially nothing more, as it is still 3-1 in favor of the Blue Jays. Welcome back to Pittsburgh, and look at that beautiful skyline view. Here's a look at the game summary in case you're just joining us. It's been a pretty quick moving game. 2 different styles of pitching. Both have been very effective. However, the day is apparently done for Francisco Liriano. He actually didn't reach 100 pitches. He didn't get that far up, but he is in the 7th inning here. So here's Ernesto Frieri. First batter he'll face will be Nolan Reimel. First pitch in there, a 4-seamer. Ernesto Frieri coming over from the Angels. It's very tempted to just call him Anaheim, but it's technically not their name. Hasn't been for almost a decade. Old habits hard to break, I suppose, as this one will roll to second, and the routine out is made, albeit a teensy bit delayed. It's a 4-3 put out for out number 1. Here's Steve Tollison. Swung on and missed by Tollison off the slider. That's strike 1. Ernesto Frieri, as I said, came from the Angels to Pittsburgh in exchange for Jason Greeley. And that was just over a month ago on the 27th of June. 2-seamer in there. 1 ball, 1 strike. So since Frieri has been able to pick up a 1-1 record with a 10.38 ERA. As his slider's in there for ball 2. He's only pitched 8 2/3 innings coming into this tournament with 9 strikeouts and 4 walks. So the numbers might be a little bit unsettling, as it might not be the best year for Ernesto Frieri. He's going to look to turn things around here, though, in the opening game of the tournament. He's already gotten 1 putout, and he's going toe-to-toe here with Steve. Base is empty here in the top of the 7th. And he gets a strikeout right there. So starting off the tournament right is Steve Tollison. Numbers be darned. And here's the center fielder, Anthony Gose. Struck out in the 5th, grounded out in the 2nd. Going to look to get something going, give a little more insurance to the Blue Jays, who already lead by 2. Swing and a miss by Gose. 1 ball and 1 strike. Ghost tries to put this one in play, rounded up by Mercer 6-3, and that's a 3-up, 3-down inning. So despite some gaudy numbers, Ernesto Frieri able to take care of business here in the 7th. We'll see if the Pirates hitters can do just that in the bottom half. Russell Martin back up at the plate. First pitcher strike. He doubled back in the 2nd, flew out to center back in the 4th. His team is down 2, so that would be a good time for some offense. But he'll pop this one up in the air, carrying the center field, still going back to the warning track. Ghost is under it for out number 1. So he flies out to center again. That's how we'll start off the bottom of the 7th. Just a look here, 6 1/3, only 74 pitches. Here's a look at Ike Davis, who in the last inning put the Pirates on the board for what has been their sole run so far, a moonshot that just kept carrying. Look at that pitch distribution on the graphic, 61 strikes, 13 balls out of those 74 pitches. Now the strike number increases even more. That's something you do not see every day. And we've seen some dominant pitchers, or dominant in terms of reputation, come up to the mound in this tournament, in this opening round, and they have not even been able to have that type of strike to ball ratio. 0-2 sails in there, and Davis hits into a routine out to second. Tolleson all over it for out number 2. So that will bring up Travis Snyder, who grounded out in the 2nd and flew out in the 5th. 2 outs, bases empty, bottom of the 7th here from Pittsburgh. And this one hit right back to the pitcher. That's a 1-3 out. So 3 up and 3 down, and 7 innings in. Dickey is still dealing, and he's well under 100 pitches. We'll see if the Blue Jays can give him some more insurance heading into the top of the 8th. Apparently the pitcher's day not done yet. We enter the top of the 8th with Ernesto Frieri on the mound, and we don't see a pinch hitter here for the Blue Jays. So Dickey going to see if he can lead his team on the mound and finish with a complete game. Why wouldn't he? Coming out of the last inning, as I said, he's still well under 100 pitches. Very efficient game. Dickey knocks one into the air, but playable. And under it is Polanco for out number 1. So here's a look at the starter comparison. Liriano's day was done after 6 innings, 3 runs, 3 strikeouts, and only 1 walk. So he had a very good day too, but Clint Hurdle just decided he happened to have seen enough. And here's Jose Reyes to restart the lineup for the 4th time today. And this one looking foul down the 3rd base line. Two-seamer in there, 1 ball, 1 strike. There's a changeup in there, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Change up in the dirt. Ray is facing a 2-2 count. Slider veers in, and that is a strike called. Strikeout number 2 for Ernesto Frieri. Here's a look at Melky Cabrera's solo homer back in the 6th inning. And put the Blue Jays up 3-1. We'll see if he can do it again. First pitch, he'll take a 2-seamer. And this one hit, carrying in the left field, still going, drops at the warning track. That's going to be good enough for extra bases. Cabrera thinks about turning the corner at second, but he will settle for a double. That's his second hit of the game. Here is Jose Bautista. 2 strikeouts today, as well as a ground out. Let's see if he can join the hit parade. And despite Bautista's record on the day, the Pirates decide to intentionally walk Bautista. That will put him on first. So at least the Pirates will have the opportunity for a force play. And here's Diano Navarro up at the plate. Going to see if he can help advance his teammates with top of the 8th. First pitch in there for a ball. And Navarro gets this one in the air, carrying left field and gone. 3-run shot by the Blue Jays, and they take a 5-run lead. Look at it again here. That one was hooking. We'll have a double switch here as a result of that. Frieri tried to hang on, but just couldn't do it.
These changes for Pittsburgh. Now pitching and batting in the 6th spot. Number 48, Jared Hughes. Now playing first base and batting in the 9th spot. Number 59, Brent Morel. Now batting.
So the double switch has been employed. Jared Hughes will be looked to close out the inning off the heels of a 3-run home run by Diano Navarro. First pitch in there by Valencia. Here's the 0-1. That one in the dirt. Talk about a sinker. 1 ball, 1 strike. kind of alluded to it when I was discussing how well R.A. Dickey has pitched, and the fact that dominant pitchers in name in this tournament have not even done as well with strike to ball distribution. I say that because there's been a decent amount of offense in this tournament so far. Five of the 6 home teams scored 5 runs. We've also had 2 teams score 7. Oddly enough, they were lower seeds, both the Twins and the Cubs. And we've had the Astros and the Marlins both score 4 runs. So there's been a lot of offense, oddly enough, in an era of baseball is going down as the pitchers are, in fact, usually more dominant. It's just the way of the tournament, I suppose, is the final out is made by Jordy Mercer to Ike Davis. But here's Deano Navarro's home run, creating some space here, making it 6-1 heading into the bottom of the 8th. Welcome back to Pittsburgh. Jordy Mercer leading off here will be Mercer Morel as a result of the double switch. And it'll be Josh Harrison due up. They're taking on a very cool customer here in R.A. Dickey. He's been pitching quite the game. He's only given up a solo shot to Ike Davis. And now Mercer's in the hole 0-2. Defensive swing by Mercer keeps the at-bat alive, but he's still in trouble. No balls, 2 strikes. This one looking fair, but hooking foul. So it will be the 3rd edition of the 0-2 count. Foul back, and now the 4th edition of the 0-2 count. And it's at bats like these that can definitely run up the pitch count against the pitcher. And I'm sure that's definitely the intention for the Pirates batters. But as with any duel, some has to happen. And it ends with a strikeout looking by R.A. Dickey. That's his 4th one today. So I said before, here in the number 9 spot off of the double switch is Brent Morel. First pitch to him, he becomes acquainted with the knuckleball for ball 1. This one in play, veering to right field. Should be playable for Reimold. It is for out number 2. So the pinch hitter cannot get on base. The Pirates find themselves to their final 4 outs here. And as we restart the lineup for the Pirates for the 4th time today, can they start a rally at this late juncture? First pitch, Harrison will take it. Harrison in his last at-bat was able to get a hit off of Dickey. Going to try to do it again here, but this one carrying to right. Reimold moves a few feet over. Was able to get the routine out. So we head into the top of the ninth. The Blue Jays up 5. He made the last 2 putouts of the last half inning, and now here he is up to bat, Nolan Reimold, the former Oriole. In the regular season, the Toronto Blue Jays are just behind Baltimore in the AL East standings, so it's interesting that the Blue Jays decided to pick up a former player in division off of waivers. Been very useful this season in the short time he has been with the team, so it's very understandable. Just wonder if once the Blue Jays return to regular season action and take on the Orioles, if Baltimore will start to shake their head at what they gave up on. Sinker in the dirt. Count runs, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jared Hughes is in the game. Going to look to close things out and simply leave it in the hands of the offense. Hughes will be batting 6th due to the double switch. We'll see if it even comes to that, as his position is not due up in the bottom of the ninth. Two-two count. Hit into play, rounded up by Harrison, and they outmade it first. Throw a little high there, but still completed for out number 1. And here's Steve Tolleson, second baseman. He's been all over the place making routine putouts and whatnot. Let's see if he can generate some more offense for his team as he watches the slider veer outside for ball 1. He grounded out but brought in a run. He's flown out and he struck out in this game, so I'm sure he wouldn't mind getting on base. He won't this time, as the slider this time veers inside for ball 2. A slider finally in the zone for strike 1. If the Blue Jays are able to hold on by this score of 6-1, this will be the largest margin of victory so far in this tournament. Largest margin of victory so far is 3 runs. The Angels dispatching San Diego 5-2, and then the Nationals yesterday taking down the White Sox by that very same score. This one hit weakly, rounded up by Hughes. Can he get it in time? He can. 1-3 for out number 2. So Tolleson hit it weakly, but it was almost in a decent enough spot that he could have legged it out. But alas, it's out number 2. And the Blue Jays may very well be down to their last offensive out. Here's Anthony Gose. If Gose can reach base, R.A. Dickey is due up. He's had such a great game that it wouldn't be a surprise for him to remain in. Just see if he can go for the complete game. 1-0 from Hughes, a sinker. 2-0. Sinker inside, 2 balls, 1 strike. And this one hit past the gloves of both Harrison and Mercer, and Anthony Ghost is on with a 2-out single.
The pitcher, number 43, R.A. Dickey.
And yep, here's R.A. Dickey up at the plate. So chances are we'll see him in the bottom of the ninth. Late swing and a miss on the sinker. 0-1 count. And I'm sure it's whiffing on a breaking ball that helps R.A. Dickey to understand the plight of some of the batters he's faced. But he hits this one into play, and it's another single. Ghost will advance to second, and Dickey is on with a single, helping his own cause.
Shortstop, number 7, Jose Reyes.
So we restart the lineup with 2 out and 2 men on. Here's Jose Reyes. Last time they were 2 men on was the last inning, and Diana Navarro sent one into left field. As this one is hit, and all they needed was the fourth play at second. So there was a little cause for alarm, but the Pirates get out of it, so they're down 5, but they got 3 outs to make some magic happen. Here's Gregory Polanco to lead off the bottom of the 9th inning. And we've seen some rallies in this tournament so far. One of the things that has made it so beautiful here in its opening round. However, this is going to be a pretty tall task, to say the least. Haven't seen a rally this big just yet. First pitch from Dickey, 1 ball, no strikes, coming off of hitting a single and then being forced out. It's up to Dickey to see if he can close out the game, going all 9 innings. 4-seamer in there, 1 ball, 1 strike, and now he's just creeping up to 100 pitches. He's at 91. But the strike-to-ball ratio, he's a 1-1 to Polanco. And this one popped up in the air, carrying to the warning track, and the out is made in center by Ghost for out number 1. At the distance, not the power. So 2 outs away here from the end of the game. 1 out in the inning, and here's Andrew McCutchen. R.A. Dickey's performance on the mound has rendered McCutchen ineffective. As he's grounded out twice and has popped up. And as I said, strike-to-ball ratio has been ridiculous. 77 strikes, 15 balls. And an out unassisted by Jose Bautista. So here it is, down to the last strike, or down to the last out. And here's Neil Walker. If Walker can reach, it'll be Russell Martin, and then it will be the pitcher position. I'm sure the Pirates and Clint Hurdle, if they get there, will be contemplating putting in a pinch hitter and then replacing Jared Hughes, who did give up 2 hits there late in the 9th inning. This one popped up in the air, carrying to right, should be playable for Reimold, and it is. And this was a quick game here, one of the quickest ones, but a pitching gem, probably one of the first ones we've seen since the Jared Weaver game where he only gave up 2 runs, and Strasburg only given up 2 runs. But other than that, only 1 run given up by R.A. Dickey and the Toronto Blue Jays, and they get the win 6-1, the largest margin of victory so far in this entire tournament. So that means Toronto will move on to the winner's bracket, and they'll take on the Cubs, who upset the Tigers in the very first game of the tournament. And the Pittsburgh Pirates will fall into the loser's bracket, where they will play at Detroit, who was upset. And here's another look at that game summary as we take one more look at that skyline. Like I said before, probably one of my favorite parks in all of baseball. It's just a shame that the home team could not get the win, but the road team does, and it was a pretty dominant performance as they put in 6 runs with 2 home runs, one of them from Diana Navarro, a 3-run shot in the 8th inning. He is our top player of the game. And it could have been either him or Dickey, but it will be Navarro who put this one away, as well as having a double earlier in the game to start off the hitting. So that'll do it here from the Eastern Region's opening round. It's going to start getting real starting next week in the East as we start having losers bracket and winners bracket action. But don't go anywhere. We got one more game for you before the round is done. It will be the Mariners and the Giants coming up very shortly here on the second half of our doubleheader. But until then, thank you for watching here from Pittsburgh. We got it in before the rain came. Very quick game here as the Blue Jays win 6-1. I'm Raymond Sims. Have a wonderful day.